Hello, this is Stephen Childs, author of the World Fairness Agreement. It's a total of 4 pages long. Occam's razor. The simplest solution is usually the true solution, the correct solution. So we have that truism, and we have can't see the forest for the trees. And then there's one more. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So I think the most important book that I ever read was by Alice Miller. It was a book called For Your Own Good, Hidden Cruelty in Child Rearing and the Roots of Violence. I started reading that and I experienced tremendous anger that was repressed. My life has been one in which the suppressed anger has been coming out. So I've had some extreme anger issues. There was a book I read by Richard K. Reynolds, Water Bears No Scars. And he explains how it's in one of the short stories, parables. It's called Seeing Clearly. And he explains how it's difficult to explain to someone what your experience is, but it's worth the effort in trying to explain your experience. We're up against people defining us as insane if we share our experience. We are in danger for not keeping our mouth shut if we share our experience. So with unfair government, see, all of this goes back to unfairness. This is the trees. The trees are trees of unfairness, and they make up the forest. So we focus on one of the trees, like fascism, and we don't look at all the trees to see the big picture. If you don't see the big picture, you're not going to be able to solve it with a simple solution that solves every one of these trees of unfairness are solved by the same solution, and it's the World Fairness Agreement. That's what solves it all. And it's as simple as we agreed to stop being unfair to each other. That's the problem. So stop. And then if the whole group of us unite from invitation, we don't want to be done wrong anymore. We can change the world with this simple idea. And it will be a world like never before, because these problems of unfairness have been with humans since there was humans. Somebody stole the food, and so there's a fight over it. I saw a young girl. Her older sister took the cherry off of her dessert, and she was so sad. She cried. She was angry, and then she just cried and cried and cried. What did that trigger? Something deep. Because her older sister had taken what was hers from her. So typically that anger and that grief, you have to hide it because you'll be made fun of for crying. Your anger's wrong, you're to blame. You're the one rocking the boat. You're the one stirring the shit. They say things like that. So you're supposed to shut up about it. Well, you know what happens when people have to shut up about it? All the addictions come into play. One of the addictions that doesn't get talked about enough is power addiction. So if somebody was bullied when they was a kid by the family, the dad, the mother, the siblings, or the school kids, or the people at church, they were bullied, they were forced into submission. They get older, they want power so that they can put other people into submission. John Bradshaw said, you either pass back this abuse to the one that did you wrong. If you're being done wrong, that's what kind of abuse I'm talking about. It's when we're done wrong in some way. So if people don't heal it, they become like the one that did it to them, and they do it to someone else because they're not allowed to heal it. Why aren't we allowed to heal it? Well, the people in power know that if we heal this issue of what was done wrong to us, their world of them in power is going to be changed into one where they're not in power. Fairness is in power. So we're all ruled by the law of fairness. All the laws that are written have to be scrutinized by the law of fairness. If the law is not fair, change it so that it is. So our religions are not fair. And they tell you that God hates you. If you complain about that, you're going to burn in hell. You're going to hell for you're defying God. How dare you defy God? God's never wrong, you're wrong. And the child starts to think that there is something wrong, or he makes a choice and betrays himself in some way so that he can live around the other people by betraying himself. People are very angry, and it's hidden. So somebody comes along like Hitler. He has a way to get people to blame this wrongdoing on someone else, the scapegoat. And this time it was the Jewish people and others. And so they blame it on the Jews. And now we see the Jews blaming it on the Palestinians. So they're stirred up into a genocidal fury like the Hitler was against them. So now they're going to take it out on the Palestinians. That's just very simple. There's two very unfair religions at the root of this. The scriptures themselves claim that God said to hate those other people and kill the men and rape the women and so forth. And it's in both the Old Testament and the Quran. And of course, Christianity uses the Old Testament. So we have Christian nationalists that think they should do people wrong, and they think God's on their side. They claim that God wants them to do horrible things to people just because they don't believe the same way or they're different than them. Like LGBT, gay or lesbian. So, I don't know why people can't look at this honestly. Why don't the Republicans look at this honestly, and why don't the Democrats look at this honestly? The Democrats say let the people come across the border, and the people coming across the border were done wrong when they were children. They want to take it out on somebody. And those damn people those damn white people. So they hate the white people because the white people did it to them. And they were done wrong when they were kids. They were beat into submission one way or another, just like the white people were. White people get beat into submission too. Sometimes physically, with belts, whips, hit. Done wrong. When you're done wrong, it's abusive. Why are humans being born into a world where the first thing that happens, they're done wrong? They get spanked on the butt so they'll cry. I don't think that's a wise practice. I've heard some studies about this. It's not a good idea. Do they even do it anymore? And then they get circumcised. For what? What did the baby do? You know, nothing. And we have a culture of cruelty that everyone lives within and was born into it. There's many examples of rape cultures where the women are disciplined, or the enemy is disciplined or killed, raped and killed as an enemy. So there's this rape culture that's all around the world, in every tribe that I know of. So the people that are raped and they can't complain about it, can you imagine how abusive? And they, like women, if they express any anger, they're really rejected. It's not allowed for women to be angry about what's done to them. They're not allowed to have a voice about it. And see, this is changing. We're in the process of this normal abuse of unfairness is coming to an end. So we've been struggling to get it to end. And so typically it'll be like the Democrats that are doing something about it. But then they don't have enough wisdom to see that they're letting people here that are born into the same world that we are, and they're going to cause the people trouble. So like Muslim, it's a rape culture. All the cultures have this problem of unfairness within them. So let's say Trump gets into power, or fascist Christian nationalists or whatever. The culture of cruelty and forced will upon us becomes empowered. And what are they going to do to the non-white Christians? Anything they want. Trump's talking about locking them all up. He's talking about having the military kill people. The Latino people, they could become the scapegoat like the Jews were. There could be horrible violence done to them. There could be horrible discrimination that happened with the Chinese people, Asian people, not too long ago, a year or two ago, because of the accusations that COVID came from China. See, when you have damaged people from being done wrong that are not able to heal because they won't let you heal. If you go to a counselor or a psychiatrist, there's only so much they can do because you're living in the world of unfairness, and they know that. And so this, all they can do is, like counselor I had, lose to win. You can't win at their game. Come up with your own game. That's what was suggested to me. So I did, and I came up with Team Fairness. This is my game that I came up to win with, to stop people from doing me wrong. So I'm speaking directly at it. Stop doing me wrong. And everyone on the planet has the right to say that. We don't want anyone doing us wrong anymore. We're not going to get in power and then do someone else wrong. That's two wrongs don't make a right. That doesn't stop it. Paybacks don't stop the problem. Violence doesn't stop the problem. We feel violent toward people. I felt violence this morning toward people that are disrespecting me. And that we have that within us as humans. We have that impulse. We repress it. It's not allowed. We don't. I agree. There's a better way to solve a problem than to use violence. That's why war is not ever going to work. You make more enemies every time you have a war. And then if they get in power, they're going to kill you. mercilessly because they hate you for killing them and raping their people. This cultural problem of cruelty, like Alice Miller said, hidden cruelty and child rearing and the roots of violence. Because these children that are being treated with cruelty, unfairness, they're being done wrong. That's what's happening. That's another way of saying it. It's cruel to do someone wrong. You're being cruel to them. When people are not given a way to get relief, they join with a group, a religion, or a gang. This is how street gangs work. They join with this group that's empowering to the person that joins them. And they have their own rules. And they're not going to take shit from no one. And they're going to kill people if they have to. They're going to have wars against people if they have to. Who cares about the law? Look at the laws that are, we have the Geneva Convention and we're supposed to have lawful wars. They're not followed. The laws are not followed. The old slogan was, rules are made to be broken. Do you think Trump cares about the rules that are put upon him? Obviously not at all. Why is Trump that way? Because of the cruelty that he grew up in. Why is his father that way? That caused him to be treated by his mother. A lot of times the mothers get left out. And we have narcissistic mothers that are very cruel in other ways. Controlling, manipulating, belittling, and shaming. So, where does this end? It goes back to somebody before and back to somebody before. Well, the first step is that Trump would have some anger toward his father. You can count on it. If his father did him wrong, he's angry at his dad. I remember my dad saying one time, "What are you angry about?" I was mad and crying and angry, just very young, I said, I think I'm mad at you, Dad. So I had a father that I was able to say that to. See what I'm saying? Not everybody had a father like that. Very rare, I would think. And I'm wondering recently what my father would be like now. What he would feel about racism and so forth. Because he grew up in an era, I'm 67, so he's much older than I am. if he was still alive. Anyway, you see my point. I grew up in a culture of a lot of people are quite racist, and I've struggled to get rid of that out of my system. I don't want it. I don't want to have thoughts like that. So just recently I'm realizing that, as little as I like to admit it, it's about me not allowing unfair thoughts within my own mind. And I've been practicing stopping desire, like Buddha said. Buddha said desire is the cause of suffering. So I've been working on not having desire. And this morning I listened to one of my favorite songs, Saved by Zero by The Fix. Saved by Zero. So if you want something, they got you. But if you don't want anything, they don't have any control over you because they don't have anything you want. So like with women, you want to have a relationship, sexual relationship, they have what you want. You have to jump through the hoops. Some men are prone to rape, they won't, and they rape, and the women can use that to get control. If I don't have total control of you in a godlike way, I'm going to spill the beans. I'm going to tell on you. So we have that going on. Keep your mouth shut. No, you don't have to. I'm kidding. You see what I'm saying? If you hear that, you know that if you don't shut up, you're going to get hurt. You might get killed if you don't shut up right now. You're a snitch. You're in big trouble. So This culture can be persuaded to join Team Fairness for the benefit they get. You won't be done wrong anymore if you join us. We'll protect you. If you do one of us wrong, you're doing all of us wrong. So we're a group. We know how groups work, so we're forming a group. And humans are group people. We're social people. But instead of practicing stuff that's not going to work, that might be fun, really fun, but gets you dead or gets other people you love dead, right? Like war, like the military. I mean, why? Why do we have to continue to spend most of our blood, sweat, and tears on funding the military and on killing people and on defending ourselves from what? From people that would do us wrong. That's what it is at the bottom of it. And if we're going to think, since we got this power, that we're going to be able to do other people wrong, it's not true. We can't. You'll never get away with it, because we got the whole world turned against the USA because of that. Because some of the white people, Christian nationalists, have been unfair to the rest of the world. They're going to be unfair to me for saying this. I don't care, because I don't have the desire to stay alive. I've got rid of that. I don't care if I live or die. I've looked at why do I have fear, and I don't have fear. I don't allow it to stay. So if you're going to do something like I'm doing, you're going to get death threats. Guarantee you. And it's the most valuable thing you could ever do for people you care about. To get other people to stop doing you and the people you care about wrong. Your own family, your parents, your sisters, brothers and sisters, your children. Why don't we all join together and stop others from doing us wrong? Who are they others? They're the ones that we're going to get to join with us too, so nobody does them wrong. And then we're going to be brothers and sisters, and we're going to love one another, and we're going to forgive each other, just like taught in Christianity. Love your enemy. Thanks for listening.